Welcome to Rich in Blockchain. Today is 8th of September 2022, and we're just going to have a recap or a look at Bitcoin and the rest of the altcoins. So just having a look at Bitcoin from yesterday's video, so we can pretty much see that we had a nice bounce. So I'm just going to look at the smaller time frame anyway at the moment. So we came back down from yesterday, as I said, retested the falling wedge that has happened, and from there we bounced up. So the only concern at the moment is that the MACD is starting to reverse and go on a downwards trend. So we would like to hold also this 50 RSI and bounce from here, or in my opinion, what would happen is that we would start falling further down. So from this point on, we can come back down, break through, and retest pretty much 17,000s if we do not hold here. So given the outlooks of things, I wouldn't say that we're very positive at the moment. So we may have further downwards. We may be falling further downwards. So that's just a quick look at BTC. I mean, looking at the daily, not much has changed. I mean, we can see here it looks a lot more positive. For the MACD, it's still reversing, which is nice. So as I said, we may fall further down, start forming a nice double bottom. From the double bottom, we can bounce up until the $28,000 range. So if it does look good, we would start doing one of these. Let me just start breaking down. So what we would want to see is it touching down here, that $17,000 range, start breaking upwards, probably retest this falling downtrend line, break up, and touch the top here, about the $28,000 range is what I could possibly see happening. And if we start doing that, we'll be breaking this downwards trend line, and which would mean that would be bullish for the rest of the alts as well. So having a look at Ethereum now at the moment, Ethereum's looking way better than what BTC is. So as I said, we're still going along this support trend line. We're approaching the apex of the downwards trend line, this resistance line here. So if I look on the daily, we can get a better look of it. So this downwards trend line for Ethereum has been going on since, now you would say, the last tops in November. So we formed this downwards trend line. We're now approaching the apex. So at the tip of the apex will be probably around about the 21st of September. So it will be decision time soon for it. And we also do know that the merge is coming up around the 14th or the 15th of September. And within that time frame, in my opinion, we may break downwards, unfortunately. Reason being, a lot of people within the crypto space tend to buy the rumor and then sell the news. So we've been moving upwards since mid-June, approaching the top of this part of the downwards trend line, retesting this support, so forming a new support. But in my opinion, we may touch this resistance one more time before coming back down to retest, which is what we kind of want to see if we are going to start getting a double bottom as well, if it's to follow BTC. And if we do retest down here, it would be great for us to break back upwards. And once we do break this downwards trend line, which will be a heavy resistance zone, we could say that Ethereum is looking more bullish and will start moving upwards from then on. Next, we're going to be looking at BNB. BNB yesterday, as I said, not looking that great because we have broken out of this supporting trend line, and it's doing a bit of what they call a Kobo, kiss off, bugger off. So generally what happens with the Kobo is, since we have broken out of this trend line, we're going to come back up and retest, and now it's up to what BNB decides to do. If it gets rejected here, we are going to be falling down further. And where I can see us going is down to pretty much that bottom part here, which is at $180 range. If it does that, same as what BTC and Ethereum are doing, forming a double bottom. And as I said, if we are not already at bottom or close to bottom, I would say that we are pretty much there already. And from then on out, we'll be bouncing and moving on up. So removing that, looking at ADA hasn't really been doing much at all. Still range bound on the daily. Hourly, looking at smaller time frames, not much difference at all, still holding. So I'm not going to be putting too much time into that one. Looking at the longer term trends, we can see that Cardano has broken out of its downwards trend for now and it's just trading sideways, which is what we want to see. But it would be nice if we start rounding off here and start rounding this nice bottom, and then from the bottom moving upwards. But it's going to take time. So we're all waiting for BTC to do what it needs to do and drag the rest of the market up. Next, we're going to be looking at XRP. Looking at XRP, pretty much still stuck in the same scenario as yesterday. So I'm not going to spend too much time on it until we actually break this downwards trend line. Once we break that downwards trend line, from then on out, we can make more of a suggested move. But in my opinion, as I said, I reckon we are close to bottom or bottom already for XRP. It's only going to take time. Looking at Solana is pretty much the same as what ADA has done. Pretty much has bottomed out, trading sideways. And from here on out, we're just waiting to see what it decides to do. In my opinion, I reckon we're going to be rounding from here on out and then moving back on up. But it's going to take some time. Solana is one of those great projects that I do recommend you have a look at, as I do believe they'll be here to stay. Next, looking at Matic. Matic is doing something very similar to BNB. Not one of the cleanest looking charts, in my opinion. It has broken out of this supporting trend line. And as what BNB has done, I do believe that it is going to form a Kobo. So if it doesn't break past this trend line and break on upwards, okay, what will happen, in my opinion, is that it's going to come back here, retest this trend line, and then get rejected off, and possibly coming down to touch this resistance trend line, which will act as a partial support. And from then on, you can also say that it's forming a double bottom from here as well. Okay, so many double bottoms coming up ahead. I think I look at Chainlink. Chainlink hasn't really done too much at all. So looking at the daily, it's trading on sideways, pretty much the same as what Cardano and XRP have been doing. It has broken out of this downwards trend line, like what Solana has done, and it's just trading sideways. But until a big move happens with Bitcoin, in my opinion, nothing else will happen. We're still on a risk-off time frame at the moment with all markets. Having a look at VeChain, very much doing the same thing as what the rest are doing, but it has a long ways to go before it touches this downwards resistance line. So it'll be great for VeChain to actually start moving on up. So it's pretty much looking the same as XRP's chart anyway, in terms of the downwards trend line, supporting on the bottom, support line on the bottom here for it. So until we reach closer to the apex, we're not going to really have much move, and that's looking to probably be in 2023. Last off, having a look at HAPI. Pretty much looking at the hourly, not much has changed at all. It's pretty much just range bound at the moment. Nothing really to say here. It's forming a nice rounded bottom here. So if we have a closer look from its lows here, which was about the 5.7 range, to the tops, recent highs of about 12.4, we see that it has come back down, retested, did a bit of a Elliott retracement. So just let me just draw that so you can see what I'm talking about. So it's did an ABC, so an ABC. It's kind of pulled back to that 0.618 golden fib retrace, which is one of the golden zones. And then from here on out, hopefully this starts holding, because we can also see as well from the MACD that it is starting to push on up. And also looking at the daily RSI, we can see that it is close to being oversold again. And from there on out, what we're hoping to see with HAPI is pretty much form this rounded bottom here. May trade a bit sideways, but then on up, we continue moving up to the next resistance zone, which is at that $15 range. Because looking back in history, we can see that HAPI has been trading within that range from about March to April, so a good month. So next we're going to be looking at the BTC Dominance. Looking at it from yesterday, we can clearly see, I'm going to have a look at the hourly by the way, we can see that we've broken down further. So we're rounding here, we're going to be possibly moving further down. In my opinion, I do believe that we're going to come back down to retest the 35.4% range for BTC Dominance. Yeah, I mean, nothing else we can really do, as we can see more money flowing in through the rest of the space. We can see that it's starting to go towards more the alts than just BTC itself. I mean, BTC has to do something in terms of actually storing value for it to maintain its number one position in the long run. And lastly, looking at DXY, we can see that DXY has had a bit of a retrace, which is great for the rest of the crypto space, because as the DXY starts retracing and pulling back, it's going to give time for BTC and the rest of the alts to start catching up, because as the risk on starts coming back from people selling the US dollar, we're going to start seeing more of the money flowing back into the rest of the different currencies and altcoins. And as we can see here on the daily anyway, that the MACD is showing that we're going to start reversing and there will be a bit more of a sell-off in the DXY. Same with looking at the daily RSI, anyway, we can start seeing that it's forming a bearish divergence here, which is going to be great for the alts and BTC. Anyway, my name is Rich and you've been watching Rich in Blockchain. I'll catch you again soon for the next episode. Please remember to like and subscribe. Cheers and have a good one.